Get started with the agenda. The first thing we want to discuss about is about some news that we want to share with you. So we have some new villages joining. It's actually two villages in California. One is Pasadena Village in the LA area, and then Care Connections Network, which is also Southern California, Huntington Beach, California, which is Orange County, I think, if my geography is correct. There's a couple of reminders we want to do here, but actually we did not did that slide, so I went quickly on that one. But there is a today a release webinar today, and there is another Q&A webinar next week that we're doing. I think Gary is with us today, but I think he's traveling next week for Thanksgiving, and he may or may not join us for the webinar. So
well, I'll try to find a coffee shop or something on the way.
Yeah, that's so fun. So if we have Gary in a coffee shop, it's great. And if you cannot make it, if there is no coffee shop wherever you are, it's not a problem. We'll try to do without.
Wyoming. I'll be in Wyoming, so
yeah, that's great. Wait, Wyoming? You should stop by Utah and say hi.
Next trip, I'll make it.
Next trip, you're right. Okay, in the meantime, so if you have questions for Gary for the Q&A webinar we do next week, you can send them to Gary at this email address, which is hvusers@v2bnetwork.org. So Gary is always very helpful at helping us organize that Q&A webinar, organizing the questions by topics and by priorities and stuff like that. So you can send them to him, and we coordinate with him to answer all these questions. These are quick reminders about important resources. There is a training docs guide, which is this link, helpfulvillage.com/training docs guide, which is a table of contents of all the training documents we provide. And the Help Center, which is a searchable database of training articles under support.helpfulvillage.com. This is what the Help Center looks like. So if you go to support.helpfulvillage.com, you can explore the documentation and also type questions on the search bar, and it's going to search the knowledge base for you. There are two places where you can submit bugs or questions to our teams, or ideas actually. So basically questions and bugs go to support.helpfulvillage.com. And you will find a link to submit your requests. If it's an improvement idea, we ask you to do it on a separate website, which is ask.helpfulvillage.com. So we obviously prioritize bugs first, and then when we're good with the bugs, we work on the new ideas. So this is the news we discussed about already, and these are the release notes, these improvements we have done this month, things that will be actually available on the server this weekend, but you'll see there are some resources that are immediately available too. One of the things that we have been working on is this. Basically, is for the public blogs. I think we basically announced it some time ago, but now we have been going deeper and using it more. Pasadena, which is one of the new villages that are joining us, they had a very active blog. And basically now you can access, and you can actually go have a look. If you go to pasadena.helpfulvillage.com/blogs, you can see the library of blog topics and different blog articles that they had posted. Obviously, first, if you want to look at their content, but also if that inspires you for your village to set up a blog of your own that you can add to your website, that is public content that is searchable by Google. So that also helps with your, Google page rank, and so basically appear higher in the Google search results, because you have more content, and then basically Google can index those pages in their search engine. So when we go into the demo area, I'll go in and I'll show you this page. I also wanted to let everyone know that there is Giving Tuesday coming up. It's November 29th. So basically it's a very famous kind of fundraising opportunity, and we have several villages that are using that. So we have been working a little bit in making it easier for you to create a fundraising campaign. I will be showing a demo today about how to configure a fundraising campaign. And I think one thing we can do together is create a fundraising campaign for Giving Tuesday. One of the things that we did is that we prepared some of the images for Giving Tuesday. So basically, you can reuse the images that we make available, and basically, it will make it easier for you to create a Giving Tuesday fundraising campaign if you want to do that. This is how it looks like. So we provide this image here at the top, which is already pre-sized and cut with the right image size, etc. And as I was saying before, if you want to create your own fundraising campaign, we're happy to give you access to this image so that you do it on your own website. Actually, we created these resources. We are making available this folder on Google Drive. So basically, if you click on that one, it's just a Google Drive folder where you will find the images. So Chris, if you can, actually I was gonna say if you can put this in the chat, but God, I can do it, I guess, because I don't know if you can do it. So I'll put that link in the chat. So if you can click on the chat, it's a public folder, and then you will see the images for Giving Tuesday that we were making available. It's just 2 images, but you can download them and reuse them. They have the right size, so it can help you save some time. There is another thing that we did when we were, working with Oklahoma on this Giving Tuesday campaign, is that this is the donation form that maybe you remember, right? So it's a little longer because you can add your name at the top and your address, and then some comments that are optional. And there is one tiny improvement that we're adding this month, is that you see the more link on the bottom left. So basically, there is now a more discrete link that is kind of, when you click on that one, is going to show these other optional fields. So all these optional fields that you can see here, naming contribution records, contribution in honor or memory of someone, etc. All of these were optional fields that was making the kind of the donation form a little longer. Some people like doing that and adding, kind of contribution in memory of someone, etc. But we felt that was making the kind of the donation form a little longer, so we can lose some people. So now we make it shorter. If people want to click on more and add additional fields, well, they can click on more, and then this other pane here on the right hand side will show. So I'm gonna show that on the demo side also. But essentially what we did is, like, now our donation form is shorter. The secondary information is kind of hidden. Another thing that we have been working on is basically some web capabilities that I wanted to show you. So basically, I wanted to show you a little bit of the Pasadena website and some of the things that we were reviewing with them, but that we also make available to you as a village. So I guess these more kind of website editing options that we can discuss today. Okay, and this is basically new current priorities. So this is what we will be working on for next month. I noticed some of the villages notified an issue with the monthly payments by credit card for membership, and so that is something we'll fix today. It's something very, very quickly. Margie, this is the email I sent you today. It's a volunteer application forms to the services manager, because it's being sent to this applications manager. And the last one is also an interesting thing. Was submitted by Capital City Village in Austin, Texas. It's the possibility to synchronize with MailChimp, a mailing list of the organization. So you can create we have mailing lists for members, for volunteers, for different people, but not for organizations. So, but we need one because we want to reach out to them and ask them for to invite them to community events or funding or fundraising campaigns, etc. So basically that's the slides. So we're gonna move on to the website now. I'm gonna show you a few things. And I'm thinking that I'll start here. Okay, so these are the blogs, right? So remember I told you about this page? Well, maybe this is one of the website capabilities that I showed you before. If your village is interested in having something like this, we have different kind of layouts for the logo, right? If you remember, we had several villages have the logo here on the side. Some other village you can choose already in the interface so that you have a logo on top. And then now basically we're adding a new well-designed option. If you are more interested in this kind of wider image that is topping your website for, with a specific village for your village, you can let us know. We're going to make this other new web template available so that if you prefer that. Obviously, it's different styles, so you can choose whatever style you like. There are pros and cons to everything. Obviously, if you put a big image like this on the top, kind of everyone can identify easily that, people in Pasadena recognize these hills easily. And obviously the logo, but obviously it takes a lot of space at the top of your website. So people would need to scroll more to go down. If you don't have an image at the top, well, then basically you see more of the content of the page right away. So it's a matter of preference. We give you options and you choose whatever option works best for you. Okay, the other thing that I wanted to show you here is the Pasadena helpfulvillage.com/blogs. So the blogs is a module that is available and it's free. So basically, if you want to explore the blogs for your own website, we know there are different villages interested. Pasadena that already has a lot of activity on the blogs, but I know there is Uplift Florida that contacted us and we're interested in this blog functionality. Same thing for any other village. You can submit a ticket and then basically we can help you get started with the blogs. Wanted to show you a little bit. So this is Pasadena, where they have these different blog topics, right? Village Voices, they have a specific blog topic about racism, they have men's time, they have this other one, meandering. So you can create a blog topic, pretty much like we do in other places of Helpful Village. And then a blog topic will contain several blog posts. So all of these are different blog topics. If we choose this meandering blog topic, it will have a title and it will have a kind of a description of what this blog is about. And then when you click on read more, you have basically the list of blog articles in that blog topic. So these are different articles that have been written by different people. As we do in other places of Helpful Village, this is customizable. So if you want to edit this blog topic, you can come here. We use a default image here. And because we imported all these blog posts from Pasadena, it's using the default image. But if you edit the blog post, there are a number of things that you can do, including the possibility to upload a picture. So it doesn't need to use the kind of the default picture. You can have a more kind of attractive picture that is more related to the content of the blog post. There is a couple of features here that I would like to explain. One is you can choose the title of your article. There is a display date, and display date, it means, you can choose the date of the blog post. So you create any date. If you create one, you want to set the date to Monday, you can choose it to Monday. This is a calendar as you know it already. The picture is optional. If you don't use an optional picture, we're going to show this default picture for the blogs. You can have this blog post is in one of the blog topics, right, that exists. So you can change the topic if you want. Here is a content page. So this is basically the content, the description of that specific blog article. I know they have some of their blog posts is poetry, so I don't know if this one it is poetry, maybe not. Maybe it is. And then you can add some blog tags. You classify your blogs also with different kind of tags also. And you can add some additional information, keywords, and a description for Google if you want to help that, because as I said before, this can be used for better Google search results. There is another thing that I didn't mention here, is that you can have different things. You can have a person that is a blog author. You can give the blog author rights on the rights management. Or what they do, for example, here in Pasadena, is that they have people that write the blog posts kind of on the writing, and they submit it in Word or something like that, or by email. But then the admin that is entering it here, they can just search and select the author of this blog post. So either they do it themselves, or they send you the content and then you upload to the content attributed to that author, and then you can search the author here and set it for this article. Okay. And there's one more page about the blogs that I wanted to show you. This is like either you click on the image or you click on the title. In both cases, we're going to open up that specific blog article. It's a New York Times letter. by Sally, which I have not read, but basically there's this, as I said before, you can edit the blog post. When we did the migration, there was some of this stuff that was coming with this extra spacing that I don't like too much. This button is interesting because it's going to show you some of the kind of, you see there is empty space here that is probably not needed, that what came with the import. And then if you do that, it's just regular blog post editing. So now it looks like this, which is pretty nice. Obviously here you have the blog archive, and you can see all these different articles that have been created over time. And then, meandering, multiple topics involving race issues and stuff like that. So you can also navigate this by dates of these different, blog post articles. So it's an opportunity for you to set up more content on your website. Maybe one thing to note is that these messages are public, right? So yeah, so essentially you can use the blog functionality if that's some content that you want to make available to the community on the public side of your website. Okay, and that is about blogs. If there's any questions, you can let us know. And if you want to try that out, we can also help you give it a try. Okay, that was blogs. Next thing I want to show you is kind of website editing functionality. Actually, now let's do the other one first. Let's do the fundraising campaign here. So first thing that I'm gonna do is that you remember this link that I shared with you on the chat. If you click on it and you open it, it will look like this. With just a regular Google Drive folder, and it just contains 2 images. So you can come here, and you see here it says Giving Tuesday blue header image. So you can click on that one, and then you can download it to your computer like this. Is this arrow link. If you download it, it's gonna download. It automatically downloaded it to my downloads folder here. I can obviously move it in my computer, bring it somewhere else. And then if I go to our demo website, I'm going to show you how to create a fundraising campaign. So you can come here to admin, fundraising campaign. Here we have other fundraising campaigns that we were using in demo. And you see that we don't have a Giving Tuesday campaign. So that's what we're going to do together. So it's kind of some sort of training. You can create a new fundraising campaign that we're going to call Giving Tuesday. You can set up a minimum donation amount. So maybe if you want to, but you don't have to, it's an optional field. But if you say, okay, we accept online donations for a minimum of $10, maybe you can have a short description. Giving Tuesday, November 29th. Okay, like this. And then we can have this other longer description where you would have some text like this. Please consider supporting our demo village during the war, I don't know, for Giving Tuesday. Your donation will help older adults. Right. I mean, I know you're all better drivers than I am, so you can customize whatever message you want in there. And then here you can use any of the website editing capabilities you're already familiar with. If you want to change colors and then use bold or change the font size and stuff like that, you can obviously do that. You can upload a picture. So basically this is a spot where you could choose file. And this is where I would use the blue folder, the blue image that we downloaded before. So I would go into my downloads folder, and I have a Giving Tuesday blue header image here that I can select, click open. It's gonna pre-select it, I hit save. And now we have a fundraising campaign that we created specifically for Giving Tuesday. that would look like this. It's using the blue image that we said before, is using the small description, it's using the description we have here. Obviously, if you have a different text, it would look different. I'm not now logged in to the website, so I have all these admin features to search a person, etc. But if I'm not logged in, it will look a little different. Before I do that, because I wanted to show you how it looks when I'm not logged in, I want to do another option you can have. Because basically here, this donate now button that is available on the top on all pages. For example, if I go anywhere else, if I go to, let's say, Village Talk.
Manuel, can you just hold 1 second before going away?
Yeah.
Of that page? Just for the background image that's on top on the fundraising campaign.
Mm-hmm.
On the chat, Leslie is asking if that can be changed, that image on the background.
This one here?
Yes.
Yeah. I would say it's a little bit more complicated because I know it's in the style sheet, etc. But I'm happy to give it a try. So Leslie, if you have a good image about that, you can send it to me by email, and
I mean, the only reason I'm asking is because it matches the standard image that's there, but it sort of looks weird when you put a
you're right.
different image there.
Yeah, no, I'm saying obviously it's possible, and so I don't know if you had an idea of an image you want to use there. You can certainly replace it. So yeah, let's try that. I would say send me an email, and then I'll change this email, because the email that is here is actually the same email that is in the default campaign up here.
Right.
So we can have them matching. So that's a good idea.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, the other thing that I was saying is that anywhere on the website, so if you are, I mean, always, right, on the website, if you're at whatever page, all people, search, my profile, etc., you have this donate now button that is always present, which is a good thing because people can easily donate from anywhere in the website. When you click on donate now, it's going to actually open the default fundraising campaign, which is this one, right? The general fundraising campaign that is a different one, that is not the Giving Tuesday, because this is the season of Giving Tuesday. What I would do, and what I would suggest, is that you link the donate now to the Giving Tuesday fundraising campaign, and I wanted to show you how to do it. So you can come into admin settings. Then in settings, you can come to money. And then in the money here, you have the default fundraising campaign link, where you can choose where is that link pointing to. So here is now the default is fundraising for COVID-19, and I would change it to the default fundraising campaign being Giving Tuesday. If I select that option and then I say save, now anywhere on the website, if I click on donate now, I will go to the Giving Tuesday campaign. So this I think is a better default now, given the season, and that's a good thing. In this folder that I showed you before, the Giving Tuesday folder, there is another image in white, and you can actually, come up with any other image. You don't need to reuse this one. It's just this one's. I mean, the blue one in particular happens to have the right size that's going to work for the fundraising campaign. The white one that I put here is something you could potentially use on your website. If you go to Villages OKC, you can see how they did it. So this is their homepage with their image and their description that they want, and they just edited their website, basically adding another Giving Tuesday image, kind of the white one here, and then some explanation of what people could do, and then you can also add basically a button here that is donate here, and then link this to the fundraising campaign. So that's another way where you can do it from the small link here, but you can also do it from any of your web pages and link to that fundraising campaign. When you do that and click on the button, no surprise, we're going to take you to the fundraising campaign that we want people to go. Margie, you had a question.
Yeah. Is there an easy way to add a button?
Mm-hmm.
There is a training article about it. I will put it on the chat right now.
Great.
Thank you, Chris. Yeah, it's a link. So I don't remember specifically the training document that Christina is saying, but I can show you one thing here, is that you can probably insert that from the training doc, Chris, if I remember, we're showing how to insert a button that will bring this style here, which is consistent with the rest of the website. And then when you're editing this page, which I cannot because I'm not logged in, which is a good thing.
You can show the training article if you want. The
Okay.
link is on the chat.
You know what to search here or not? I can
Yeah.
go to that too, but
This the link on the chat already. The link is on the chat.
there you go. So here,
Button. Just put button and it shows up.
how to set up
How
a
to set
button
up.
on editable page. So
Yes.
that's good. Damn. Okay. Yeah, we'll do this easier because we can have it like a button like this. Because Christine, what we're suggesting right now is that you do it on, basically just copy pasting something like this. But we can do something easier. We'll do a button like this, where you click on a link here, you can actually add the plugin for HV events. It would be easier to add add a button. So it will be, rather than doing it on the code, I would change this, Chris, and we'll make it easier to add a button because is a good point Mark is raising. But the thing that I wanted to show you here is that when you're editing this page, what we're gonna do is that we will add here the possibility to add an HV button. You click on that one, it's gonna add the button somewhere, and then on your page is a link. So when you click on the link, basically you have the possibility here to link to wherever you want that button to go. So which in this case is a fundraising campaign for Giving Tuesday, right? And then we take care when you import the button. I mean, when you press on this button, so that it looks, it comes up with the style of the button, stuff like that. And then basically this is a regular editing page that I don't want to change, but just as a summary, what I'm saying is that you can have in your content of your pages, you can link to your fundraising campaign in any way you want. And I think a button is pretty attractive too. Okay, this is for Pasadena. No, sorry. Okay, see, I wanted to show you this other quick thing that we did for the fundraising campaign, but I'm going to log out first. If I click donate now, either from here or from here, they would both go to the same place. And here you see this is the anonymous form. So I cannot search for donors because I'm not an admin. So there's no search capability. But if I want to donate to this campaign, I would say I want to donate $50. I can set this up as a monthly donation. If an institutional donation, first name, last name, email, the address. And then basically the one thing that I told you that it was a slight change here is that we kept the comments because that's pretty easy to add, but the other optional fields are actually hidden now under this more link. So you can always find them if you click on more. And then here you can still enter the naming contribution records, contribution in memory of whatever other person, etc. that you have, but all these other fields here just felt more secondary and was making the donation form a little bit too long. So I think it is a good thing to have this more button that is hiding the secondary fields. Okay, so that's for Giving Tuesday. Obviously, everything that I was saying, because most of our villages, they have set up a Stripe that accept, to accept online payments online. If you're a new village and you don't have your Stripe account set up or connected with Helpful Village, obviously this requires contacting our team so that we can help you set up a Stripe account and then connect your Stripe account with Helpful Village so that you can accept online payments. Okay, so that's for fundraising campaign. Now I wanted to go to a different thing, which is showing more about the website capabilities. And I wanted to show you around a little bit this website, some of the work we have been doing with Pasadena, and obviously kind of these elements that we want to make available to all villages too. So as I said before, this option here is something that now becomes possible. If you have a large white image like this, you can contact our village. For now, it's not automatic, but we can make it as an additional option into Helpful Village and just add it to the drop-down box. But if you want to give it a try, you can also contact our team who can do a quick test before setting it up for everybody or more kind of configurable. And then down here, we had already before the possibility to customize these background images before. Some of the things that are been working on these graphic elements is this. I kind of like this with the fact that you have a picture, and these are people from their village. So that's also great to have, real pictures from the actual community you're in, and then the possibility to support those pictures with some sort of a base under here. I know this one is not perfectly aligned, it's just the size of the image. So one thing when you're doing this, I would say, just editing the images in Photoshop so that if the images have the exact same size, well, that the alignment will look a little better. This is the Helpful Village plugin for events that you're already familiar with. So basically, if you created events in your calendar of events, they can be displayed in any page, including the homepage. So it's something you can have like this. And then this is, typical content that you already knew how to do before. So it's centered content. This is an option maybe also that may be interesting to you. So if you want to have some sort of a band, because most of the time what we do, right, is that we have these margins from left to right, because it's bad kind of design practice to have your text touching the edges. So we always provide you with a margin like this, but we have come up with a way so that you can go the full width, because sometimes you can have some design elements like this one that goes from the full left to the full right. Same thing here for the footer, where basically, it doesn't stop, but it goes all the way here. Actually, yeah, so that is one thing. I wanted to show you another thing here, is that the way this page is built, right? Actually, I'm not going to show it here. I'm going to show it a little later in a separate page because I don't want to mess with their homepage. I'm going to show you other pages that use other formats, but to give you ideas about how you could potentially also edit your own website. This is the About Us page, where basically they came up with something that was quite interesting to me, is that they had kind of this consistency in terms of a template or design, where basically they usually have this large image at the top, kind of title of the page, and then just a combination of pictures or videos on the left, right, etc. So this one looks like this. Just quick show. And then I know we have another page which is similar, which is like this, the Join Us page, which is, as I said before, similar template, top image, title of the page, and then pictures and text on the right hand side, on the left hand side, etc. So if you're interested by any of this design, this one in particular we did not have in the editor, the possibility to have, we had this one, which is a picture on the left and text on the right, but we didn't have this one, which is text, a picture on the right, a text on the left. We obviously can, you can make it work for your page too. If I go into the editing mode of this page, I wanted to show you one more thing. So here is kind of the editor as you know it in general. And you add your pictures and obviously edit this page. One thing that is important to mention here, more as a training of the page, is two things. First, I would recommend that you use this button here, which is showing the blocks. When you use that option, and you can use also here, if you take the corner here of the page, you can make this bigger, which I like when I'm working on pages. And then when I clicked on this button, it's just it shows basically some of the code that is behind the scenes that is not necessarily visible to the naked eye in general. So basically here is I don't know if you can see it from your computer, but basically you see in light gray when you're coding, it's easy to see, okay, well, this is an H2, this is a paragraph, this is a header. You can see a little bit more of what's going on your page. For example, here you see that there is an empty paragraph, and then again, if I did enter again, now you see that there is a paragraph here and an empty paragraph here, so you can see what's going on. One of the things that I wanted to say that is quite interesting is they use, when they're building the page, is the use of these templates. If you go here into insert template, and this is not new, I know we have had it before, but I wanted to show you something a little bit later after after I have explained about the template. If you go into insert templates, there's a number of web elements and templates that are that we make available to you that look like this, like helpful village web element with 3 columns with pictures, helpful village web element Facebook feed, etc. Pick left, text right, pick left, etc. And then I know some of the villages you can do this without using the templates, and people have gone in. For example, here inserting tables, right, like this, and basically say, okay, I can create 3 columns, 2 rows with a table. But the table is something that you should probably avoid, because when you use a table, the table sets constraints about what should be to the right of what column, etc. Because it's necessary, in an accounting, you don't want to change, the second column, you don't want it to come down. But when you're designing a website, you want some of that adjusting happening. So if you want to, we definitely recommend that you use these templates that we provide from Helpful Village, saying, well, for example, this one, 3 columns with pictures, etc. Because if you use our templates there, they are mobile friendly compared to tables that are not mobile friendly. And that's the next thing that I want to show you. But kind of that the trick is that how to find those templates and how to use them. So they did a very good job using these templates. So I don't remember exactly the name of the template, but this kind of, text to the left, picture to the right, or picture to the left, right, text to the right. And because they did that, I want to show you how, in the particular case, well, let me close this because I wanted to show you that, but I don't want to modify that page for real. Give me a second. So this one, I just want to close it. And then come back to the homepage here. Because you see the homepage here is the same thing. We're using the same templates. This one is kind of 3 columns with pictures and stuff like that. And you can obviously change the content of those pages inside. But what I wanted to show you is that if you use our templates, if I stop sharing the screen, what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to stop sharing my computer. I'm going to start sharing my phone because I want to show you how the website looks on the phone. So I've stopped sharing my computer. I need to unlock my phone and make sure nothing crazy is showing on my phone. And then I'm going to share my screen. And I can share my screen like that, my phone. Okay, so I changed the way what I'm sharing. So that's what you see now. It has probably a different format, but that's actually the actual screen of my phone that I'm now sharing through Zoom. And it's the exact same page. So we do not have 2 separate pages, one for the desktop and one for mobile. But if you do one page that is built in a smart way, we do this. So remember we had this welcome page, welcome sign at the top. We're actually providing with 2 default buttons for events and service requests, because those are quick access that are easier to access with these buttons. So these only show on mobile. And then if you scroll down, actually I was scrolling down on my desktop, but it doesn't work because I need to do it from my phone. If you scroll down, you see the text, you see remember we had 3 columns with these pictures. Well, here, because we're using these mobile friendly templates that we make available, rather than having them side to side, they're one under the other. So obviously it looks better. It's the exact same images, exact same text. Here, there is something I need to do with this other 4th image. I know it's not looking perfect, goes to the right a little bit too much because I need to add some magic there. This is the events plugin, right, that you're also familiar with. So this also looks good on mobile. And then if you keep going down, we are zooming, contact us with questions. Thank you for your partners. You remember the logos of the partners or sponsors, they were, to the side. If you do this in a smart way, basically they look on top one of the other. So there's a lot of traffic today in the internet that goes through mobile. So we want to make sure that we help our villages build websites that both look good on the desktop computers and on the phones. And I'm going to click on one of the events. This is basically the event description, and also we have well, basically the page for the event. But it's here for the event. We did in this is an event also that is looking good on mobile, and I can register for this event from the phone. Okay, I can stop sharing. And that is basically it. So That's all we had. So this mobile editing is something that is a little bit of a puzzle and a mystery, because it's kind of magic that we can make it work both on a large screen and a small screen with the exact same code. But basically, even if I'm repeating myself, the key to that is using the templates that we make available, and be super systematic when you're creating your pages. So I recommend you can go have a look at your websites on a computer, maybe go have a look at how do they look like in a phone. And then if you have some questions about how to make some of your pages more mobile friendly, you can contact our team and we can help you get that done, because it's possible. Perfect. So I want to pause here. I don't know if there are any questions we want to discuss today. There's another webinar also next week for Q&A. So if you have a quick question, we can discuss it now. If you want to give it more thought before we talk about it, we can also discuss it next week. Gary has a question.
Yeah, you've enlarged the header on the web page.
Mhm.
Can we enlarge the main section of it as well? Because there's a lot of white space on that one.
Yeah, it's a great question. Here, everything with the website is a little bit touchy, because obviously depending on the devices and stuff like that. Something that happens is that also a lot of the more modern computers and stuff like that, right, and more modern screens, well, you see all the white space on the sides, but there are some other people in the community that have older computers or older screens, and they don't see that. So basically, if we make it too white, sometimes, you know, it kind of can look good in your computer, and maybe it will not look good on some. So when we chose that width, was with some sort of a standard on saying, well, today, you know, if we're within this range, I don't know, 95 or 99% of the population have screens that display the right size. We can do other things, but we need to be careful. You see what I'm saying? Is that sometimes like, oh, you know, not to design only for your screen, giving your device and monitor, but that it also works for people that have older material. So it's a little more complicated.
And I noticed that one picture towards the bottom of the screen was too large.
Yeah.
Is there a setting that for our picture that allows it to change sizes?
Yes, it's a good question. It's a little bit of a tough question. There's a set of tricks that are not necessarily super obvious tricks. One of the tricks is on the style of the image. You can define a max size. So you can say, okay, usually the image is gonna take whatever size it has, but then on one of the properties say, okay, but I don't want this image to ever be bigger than 100% of the screen, which is what happens in the phone, right? Where it's like, well, you know, the screen is bigger, it's smaller. So if I don't want it ever to be bigger than 100% of the width of the screen, it's gonna resize it. But it's, I'm not saying it's obvious. You see what I'm saying? It's not only, there's not one button you can go in there. It's like we can, what we recommend is that you choose some of the more important pages on your website, right? And that you absolutely want to make mobile friendly. I would recommend All Villages, for example, for the homepage. That is what people visit the most in general. At first, is that we make sure that you have one page that is mobile friendly. We can help you look at it, see if we can apply some of the tricks, and maybe you can learn the tricks and apply them to other pages. But I would say it's a kind of one, you know, step-by-step kind of process. One thing you also need to see is kind of if you have pages where you have tables. I know people use tables sometimes for design. The tables are so, I understand why, right? Because I understand why sometimes like, oh, you want 3 columns, but now I don't want 3 columns. I want 6 columns or 7 columns. You know, you go in the editor, you think 6 or 7 columns, but just tables are well known for not being mobile friendly. So if you know that you have some pages with tables, then you want also kind of start working with us to see if we can help you apply the templates that we make available, because those templates, as I showed today, they just look much better on mobile.
Yeah, they do. Thanks.
Bonnie, you had a question.
Yes. And I wanted to bring this up, Manuel, because you mentioned this is on your upcoming priorities about adding mailing lists for organizations.
Yes.
I wanted to be clear that the request that I made was about adding organizations to existing groups that only have people in them. for instance, all donors, we have a group of donors, and we need to have that be able to contain both individuals and organizations. And so it's a little different from what you said, and that is mailing lists that are organizations. Right?
Yes. So thank you, Bonnie, for clarifying the request, and I understand what you're saying. We always want to go step by step, right? So I already started working on it, and what I started doing is like I created a mailing list where there's only organizations. It's just, I'm not saying it's the end goal, right? Because you're right, we could mix them up, but just I want to make sure that I can make it work for organizations only, and then we can reach them. And then once I have that, I can basically mix them up with people. When I went in and I started doing for organizations, I actually have it working so that we can create, I was super happy because I had this mailing list for organizations, like, oh, this is working. And then suddenly there are all these other aspects, because basically there is all these unsubscribe from MailChimp, and then, basically MailChimp unsubscribe, MailChimp something, if some of the, and then that is something that we're doing, these MailChimp boxes on the user profile, but the organizations don't have a user profile. So it's kind of what I'm trying to do is kind of simplify the problem a little bit, include all these MailChimp unsubscribe, clean, etc. And then once we have that working, then do an additional step, and then, allow you to mix them up, people and organizations. So I'm on it, just going one step at a time. But it's a great point.
Thank you.
And then is this maybe Jim? It's Jim.
Okay, you said that you are now going to send volunteer applications to the service request managers. Well, those are very distinct roles in our village, and it might be helpful to find out from other villages. The volunteer manager here screens and trains new volunteers. The service request managers enter and manage service requests. And they are mostly people persons who answer the telephone. They're not especially good at computers. And for us to send volunteer applications to them will get them more confused than they already are. And provide them with information about people that they need not know. So I would like you to more clearly, sharply distinguish service request managers from.
No, it's a good point. I get it, and I can totally see how it's different to be managing the existing service request and recruiting volunteers, which is a different role. So maybe we should add a separate kind of volunteer manager role that is different for the services manager, which is.
Yes, I've been pushing for a volunteer manager role for ever since we started.
Yeah, as a reminder, what we had before, but it was not a good idea. So we're just moving away from that. We had this role that was an applications manager that was managing application for everything. But obviously I understood that those are separate processes. So now we're sending the member application to the member manager. And I think we need also a volunteer manager role that will receive the volunteer application from. So it's great that you raised that point, Jim, because I need to work on that, and I'll create this other contact information person to route that to the appropriate person. So I agree with you.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Jim.
Everyone thanks Jim. Me too. No, I'm really thankful, because sometimes you code something and then you come next week and then it's like, oh, dude, no, we need to change it again. But if we speak about it before changing it, it saves me one round. So that was a great point. Perfect.
Margie has another question on the chat about down the line of the links. I just reply that can be changed on the style sheet. Okay, but every time that we make changes on the style sheet, it has a cost of $60. So before making just one change on the style sheet, just be sure if you want to change any other things on the style sheet, so that you only pay once $60, right?
Yes. So
I post things on the website. We post our board meeting minutes, and I post every month. And when I insert the link, sometimes it's blue, sometimes it's red, the underline.
Yeah, that we need to see a ticket with a specific example of
Okay.
these 2 pages when
Okay.
it's on
Yeah,
one in
that's
there.
it.
Maybe, you know, it's added in different ways. So that one we need to look at. I wanted to also add something to what Christina said. So it's possible to customize kind of the background image and stuff like that. Now, for some security reason, you know, we need to do this for you, because otherwise you can move buttons around with the style sheet, etc. And so basically every time there is a modification, well, we need to connect to the server, do that for you, etc. So as Christina just said, you know, we cannot have, oh, how about this, you know, let's try this green, and then now we go to blue, and then I spend all my day, you know, changing colors, and then nothing gets done on the website. So basically, you can definitely try all you want and saying kind of, you, for example, let me show you again on the website, right? There is a number of things that are customizable in terms of style. I know, for example, that this is Pasadena, but I know Uplift in Florida is another example where they got some of this customization, or Northwest Neighbors also, etc. And then here you will see an example where basically when you do that, you see all these links, rather than being the default blue that we have, is this shade of blue that they chose. So you can choose this color. See the background color here, usually by default in Helpful Village is gray, but they went with white. And basically all the buttons in the emails, etc. So if I log in, this shocked me the first time I saw it, so I want to show it to you. The first time I came here, I saw this and all of this was in blue. It's like, oh my God, where am I? So all these things are customizable, but as I said, you can change it to whatever you want, but yeah, kind of we need to connect to the server, etc. So just you can change these multiple settings, but every time you want to change something, well, then, you know, we'll go one in, etc. And it's a small fee for us to take the time to do something specific for your website.
Last question, Manuel. I know that we are on the hour.
Yeah.
Do the templates work on emails?
It's a good question. Let me see. I don't remember. So if we go new email here, and then here, if I say insert template.
You're not sharing. You're not sharing your screen.
Okay. Yeah. They are. Yeah. Let me share. But basically, share screen here. So I just went into the new email messenger, right? So admin email messenger here, and then new email message. And then it's here. You can choose, I'm sending this email to the mailing list of active members or something like that. And then I go here into the editor. And in the editor, I have the exact same thing, insert template. And then you can choose a template from here with the 3 columns, 2 columns, and stuff like that. So yeah, they're accessible here in the email templates too. I know I did another thing that I'm going to show, and then this may be the last thing. There was one thing that annoyed me also on the editable pages. I'm going to show that here. Here, take any of these pages. This is a test page I use sometimes. And then here on the edit, when you're inserting a template, there's these 2 things. I didn't do it here. I don't know where I did it, because I remember seeing this. I think maybe it was Pasadena, but basically you have these 2 options, copy and include. So copy, it means that we're going to take that code is going to be applied to that page, and then you can change the content of that page. And include is something that you would use more like a footer, so that you don't need to change it on every page, etc. But there is a specific element that is this footer that you can design. And then if you change your phone number in the footer, you don't need to go in every single page. So it's kind of when you have something that is included in other pages, you use this include option. And then when you have an element that is specific to that page, it is this copy option. And then what I did is that, but it's not here. I did another thing, because sometimes there are some things you will never want to include. For example, this, including a web element that is horizontal with picture left, picture right. is not something that I would include, because obviously if I'm adding this to my page, I want to edit it and change the pictures and text that is into that page. So I just changed the way we do this copy and include sync. But I mean, you will see it when it deploys to the server. It's not very important. I should not have mentioned that 1 minute before the end of the session. Okay, I think we're all good. Web editing is a lot of fun. It's not necessarily super easy. As I said before, you know, we're dealing with different screen sizes and stuff like that, phones compared to computers, what's to the left, to the right, how to adapt it, automatically rechange and resize the images. So there is a few tricks and tips, but we're happy to help you with all of that. So that's what we have for today. There is another webinar next week. Gary is gonna show us a new coffee shop you can do a travel guide with Gary's coffee shops around the country. Next week's edition is Wyoming.
Yeah, I've had a lot of meetings from coffee shops.
That's great.
All right, Memo.
Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, sir.
See you next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.